Hey, it's Dean. I'm back again. I'm your multi-genre music man. I got another police interrogation since the other one was so good. This one's called Police Sergeant Doubled as Serial Rapist Jeffrey Pelo. Full police interrogation. This is about 59 minutes and 19 seconds. So I'm going to give this one a listen.
It's almost too frightening to imagine this man obsessively stalking women, sneaking into their homes, assaulting them, forcing them to perform this bizarre cleansing ritual. But what may be most disturbing is who the attacker turned out to be. A man who understood what happens in the box all too well. That is, until he slipped up.
This is always going to be with me.
It was the worst night of 25-year-old Christy Mills' young life. Woken from a dead sleep by the outline of a large man standing over her bed with a gun.
I was in shock, absolute shock. I looked at the door and saw the light there, and something just didn't seem right, and that's when I saw.
And what does he say to you?
He said that I'm only here to burglarize you. I don't want to hurt you, but if you scream, if you make...
The interrogation starts about 3 minutes and 33 seconds in. Before that, they just tell about what happened.
any noise, I'll shoot you. The next thing I remember is he was on top of me in the bed. He actually taped all the way around my head so that I wouldn't be able to open my mouth at all. Tape over my eyes.
So you couldn't see?
I couldn't see, and then he actually took the pillowcase off my pillow and put it over my head as well.
That must have been scary.
Extremely. He seemed very assertive when he talked, not like somebody who's, panicking. He seemed like he really knew what he was doing.
The man sexually assaulted Christy for 45 minutes, then shoved her into the bathroom.
The water was running in the bathtub. I started to panic, and I thought he was gonna shoot me in the bathtub. Just over a month from my 26th birthday, and I was gonna die.
Did you know why he was putting you in the bathtub?
I didn't. I thought he was gonna kill me there.
Christy was forced to take a long bath, told to wash carefully, as her rapist calmly walked about her apartment, hiding her cell phone and removing the sheets from her bed, before slipping away.
I got out of the bathtub, took the pillowcase off and ripped the tape off my eyes. Was trying to pull the tape off and couldn't get it off. I actually ripped hunks of the hair out to get it off. And then I called 911.
2 years later, across town, the rapist found another victim, his fourth.
I awoke to someone coming in my room, and
Sarah, a 27-year-old restaurant manager, was attacked by the masked intruder just 6 weeks before her wedding.
at the beginning it was gun to my head, knife to my throat. Every single thing he did, he was physically threatening me. He knew everything about me, what my sister looks like to what car my husband drove, my work schedule. He knew where I worked out, pretty much everything.
As with Christy, he was careful, binding her hands and covering her head with a pillowcase. And again, like Christy, he forced her into the bathroom for a long soak to wash away the evidence.
All I could think about was I can't have someone call my family, my fiance, my parents, my siblings, and tell them that I've been killed 6 weeks before I get married.
Although the rapist had wiped clean the physical evidence, he could not erase the details Sarah had memorized about him.
His height, weight, way he carried himself. He had very distinct, bright blue eyes. I knew, I would be able to pick them out as soon as I saw that person.
This isn't the way we wanted this to happen, right? We wanted you to come down here and go on all your stuff and chat and all that stuff. Unfortunately, it didn't happen that way. We worked on the same group project. And as you know, we have rules that we have to go by. Just as you're very familiar with all this stuff, all that kind of stuff. And we want to talk about what's going on, because we're not absolutely sure what's going on. What are you talking about? I have to read your rights first. I'm under arrest. At this point, you're not free to go. At this point. I'm under arrest. I'm not free to go. I'm under arrest. Well, we're in a custodial situation. That's why I'm going to read you your rights. Because you came down here in their car. I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna. I don't know where we're going. What's going on? I don't even know what you're talking about. I understand that, Jeff, and you understand just like I do that I can't talk about anything until we get this open. All right. You have the right to remain silent. You say you can't chief. You have the right to talk to a lawyer and have to be present with you at any discussion. If you move forward in the hierarchy, you recommend one question of the election. You can decide any kind of exercise in your rights. Not so close and make mistakes. You understand the rights like that? Yes, of course I do. You have those rights in mind we should speak about what? Okay. Well, last night, there was an issue that came up, right? Southwest side of town. Talking about? It's I want to hear what you have to say about it, and I really hope that there is a good explanation for it all. Did you meet up with the police officer? You're talking about seeing when I was walking around by the lake, looking at the lake down there. Again, drove down there, couldn't sleep. All right, houses going for sale in that area all the time. I'm interested in buying money about a house. She lives up in the Grilby. She's poor. She's on fixed income. I want to move closer to us. Houses going for sale. There's a townhome right there for sale. But anyway, I was looking to see what kind of access went down to that lake. That's all. Right? I was starting to walk around the park, walk down the lake, and I'm leaving. Where in the park? I don't know the name of the street. But it wasn't right there where you found it. It was by the lake. That lake goes behind those houses. You know, you understand how difficult the situation is for everyone, including yourself. Really? Yes, I understand. And irregardless of what a feeling like this, I think we're hopeful. Speak open enough. Like that. There are just some things that happened last night that just doesn't add up. No. Jeff, no. As a former investigator yourself, that there are things that we know, okay, such as the way that you freaking out. Why would you be in between two houses? Because I couldn't keep going straight. There's a drainage thing that goes down the lake. I couldn't keep walking. So I walked up, the dog started barking, and oh hell. So I walked up between the houses and go to the road. All right. He comes around, I thought maybe it was the homeowner. I was like, I don't want to startle, He startled me, so I turned to walk back down. He said, stop, please. I was like, oh, it's a cop. I turned around and walked back. Yeah. Why do you know that being a police officer, that kind of thing is not what we want? We don't, as police officers, we don't walk around at 12:30 at night in the morning, walking in between the houses. I walked between the houses. I was by the lake. I couldn't keep going, so I walked up between the houses. That's it. I mean, that is it. That's it. Think about what you're telling me. I am thinking about what I'm telling you, the truth. I went down there, what kind of public access is down there?
I started going to the west side, but there's fences or, and I come back around the other way. All right, again, I can't go no further. There's a drainage thing that comes down and fills that like overflow, I guess, I don't know, whatever it is. So I started, the dog started barking, so I walked up between the houses, go up to the road, and yes, to be on the road, so I'm not walking up between, it just,
Wait. But you weren't on the road until
I was going over the road. All right, that's where I was walking up to, was go up to the road. Walk down to my truck and drive away, because I was done looking at the lake. There's no access going down to the lake, so, okay, Jim.
we're past the point of you were there, right? You represent that you were there.
Yes.
In between those two houses.
Yes. I was just walking from the lake up to
Okay. If you get a call of someone walking in between two houses at 12:30 in the morning,
I don't know what call brought me. Yes, of course.
the person who called this in has every right in the world to do this, correct?
I have no idea who called it in. All right. What they called in wasn't me. All right. Dave said last night somebody knocked on somebody's door. I didn't knock on anybody's door. I didn't knock on anybody's door. Did not knock on anybody's door. And I don't know what else you're trying to allege here. I don't want to jump to some kind of conclusion. Like, all this isn't about because I walked up between from that lake up between those two houses.
Absolutely.
All right. I don't know what else you're talking about.
We're talking about you standing up with your back to the house and trying not to be identified. The back up against the house and not trying to be seen when the person walks by.
I was walking up. I saw someone coming, so I stopped. I turned to go back. Again, the dog's barking. I didn't somebody think I was doing something wrong. He said, "Stop, police." I was like, "Oh, hell." So I turned and walked up. I wasn't standing with my back against no house.
I think you're minimizing.
I'm not minimizing you.
He said, "Stop, police." Isn't there a little bit more than that?
No, that's what he said.
You didn't see the gun he had pulled on?
No.
You weren't aware of what he pulled the gun on?
I did not know he did that. When I turned and walked towards him, so we could see what it was, then I went with Brett. His hand was at his side. He was like, we talked for a moment. He asked me what I was doing. I told him what I was doing.
Yeah, you were there to look for him.
I'm interested in houses in that area. There's that lake. I was looking to see what kind of access there is down there. My mother's disabled, and she can walk, but she can't walk too far. So I didn't see any access down there. And off the coast, I can go down there. But as far as a public sidewalk going down there, I didn't see that. I'm gonna walk back around and then go to my truck.
See, you know all the things you say, you could sue me as church. All I'm saying is that what you need to do is think about just exactly what you're saying. Before you jump back with a conclusion, Jeff, you need to think about what you say. You need to think about what the scenario is. Well, you get honest with me?
Haven't you been?
I think I need to take a step further.
Okay.
Because the lady, scared to death. Scared.
I don't know nothing about the lady.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you, she was scared to death. She was an absolute basket case.
It wasn't for me.
What? Yes, you were in between the houses. You were in between the houses. What if this would have
I
happened?
walked up between the houses
Yeah.
and Zeman was there. That's the only time I went between the houses.
What if this would have happened? Would you be a little concerned?
But I don't understand what you're saying. The only time I walked between those two houses was when I,
And but that's
Right.
where you
that's when I met the Zeman.
that's where you and Officer Zuma are different in what you said.
But whatever the lady was scared of, it wasn't me.
It was you.
How could it be? The only time I was between the houses when I walked up and Zeman was there, she'd already called.
Jeff, Zimmer had already been throughout the whole week. You were the only person there. It was 12:30 in the morning. It was 12:30 in the morning.
The only time I walked up between the houses, like those two houses, was when Zeman came. All right? I mean, I walked from the lake, between the houses, there's Zeman. Obviously, I'm not the one scared of women because that's the only time I was there.
But you wanted out of there quick. You didn't stop and, you said, I'm here looking. You're thinking, let's just run all the way down the line.
He's on call. I'm not gonna stay here and talk to him with you.
With you, Jeff. Think about it. I mean, it is just right down the line.
Right down what line?
I mean, he's called out there, all right, there's nobody else out there but you. This lady has someone prowling around the windows. She's a very attractive young lady.
It wasn't me. I wasn't prowling around anyone's windows. I wasn't prowling around at all. Again, when the dog's barking, I thought, I need to go up by the road, and that's when I walked between the house.
Well, what makes you decide to go look at a house at 12:30 in the morning?
I wasn't looking at the houses. I'm interested in the house in the area, and I was looking at that lake. That is all. And that's all.
I do. You've been wrong, the difference between right now. It's getting putting our gas and
I understand.
I did not walk between that.
One time I walked between those two houses is when I was down on the road, can't do nothing. So I walked up to go up to the road. That's it. And when I walked up there, somebody comes running. All right?
What are we doing?
T-shirt, shorts, flip-flops, and socks.
Flip-flops, sandals.
The T-shirt had it running.
Mark, those Irish shorts. The one I'm not sure. Is there anything else? No.
What was my card? It was there, my pocket.
What if I just. I don't know.
I understand. And you understand how difficult this is for, I understand how difficult it is for you and playing ball. I understand. I didn't do anything wrong, but I'm a realist. I'm a realist. You understand? And I think there's a whole lot.
And I'm not going to sit around all day long and talk about it.
I understand, all right?
There's something right here that, you're a police officer. You know what I can know. And
I understand.
I think you did wrong. I really think you did wrong. And I know.
Because when I didn't do anything wrong, walking up to that lake towards the road is the right thing to do at that point. I mean, I can't go for the dog, okay, so I walked up there. I mean, I mean, if it wasn't for a thing, I would just walk around the lake and went right back to where my truck was. I mean, that is all. I'm not, you know, I'm not minimizing anything. You are, no, I'm not minimizing anything. I just, I mean, I don't know how simple it is. It's not, it's not that simple. I didn't have ill intent of any kind. That's it. It's not that simple. I mean, that's it. It's not that simple. I mean, she is a young, attractive lady. I don't care if she is. And like I said, I know, you know, I've seen you. I've seen how you take a genuine interest in people. Okay? And I think if you knew what you did to this person, because I'm telling you, she's freaking did not do anything. You were there, right? Were you giving anybody that? Did I walk up from the lake between the houses and on the road? Yes, I did. Okay. You were there, right? Yes, yes, I was there. Okay. You were confronted by officers. Yes. Yes, he was there, I was walking up. Okay, okay. Let's just go with this and chronological order. First of all, is there any reason that you can tell me why David's even relaxed about this situation? Because I'll tell you what, he's freaked out too. Because you're one of his mentors. All right. You're one of his mentors. He is, I don't know how I freaked out. You don't know how you freaked out? Well, I mean, he couldn't even hardly talk. He was so upset by the situation. He talked about how you were, you know, one of his mentors, you were an FTO training sergeant. I mean, you look at, I understand it. And, okay, so getting back to the question, is there any reason why David Zeman would lie about that? Let's just I have no idea. I don't believe, no, why would he lie? Absolutely. Why would he lie? I have no idea. Absolutely. He has no reason. As a matter of fact, we can call him up the second minute after he confronted you. I do what? I don't have any reason why. Everybody has their back, and everybody has their crosses to bear. I understand. All right? And you know where we're getting at all this. You don't know what I'm talking about a young, very attractive female. I don't know who you're talking about. All right? She's the lady in one of those two houses. All right? I don't know. I have no idea who lives in either one of those houses. I wasn't interested in those houses. I'm sure you had no idea. I wasn't interested in those houses. You weren't interested in lake access. I mean, yes. I mean, that is just it doesn't make sense. All right. It doesn't make sense. No. Yes, it makes sense to me. That's why we did it. If I'm going to look at a lake all right. Well, it's waste of time, but that's why I did it. I just walked down there. What are you, 17 years? Yeah. 17 years of being a police officer. I understand. And you don't think that is a severe error in judgment to being in between two houses at 12:30 in the morning, all I was doing was walking away to the road. All right. You're implying I'm doing something mysterious between these houses, and all I'm doing is walking away up to the road. That's it. That's exactly what it's like. That's it. That's all because Officer Zemer, who has says no reason to lie about this, says that we were up against the house, and he had to call for you 3 different times
No, you didn't fight me in the back. And then you turned around and walked the other way. When I saw the figure standing there, I just turned and walked back. What did he, okay, what did he say to you then? You turned around and you walked back. And he said to you then, stop, please. And what else was he say? Stop, please. And you see your hands. I don't recall everything he said. I said, stop, please. I looked. I realized what was it? So I turned around and went back. I mean, if I had realized this first, he was Officer Zimmer, I'd have just kept walking right toward him. But my initial thought was someone that lived with us. That's it. That's it. That's it. Because the scenario doesn't fit. You know it's. Right, there's it. And that kind of also, I think you've seen me interview enough people that I just want to know. No, I understand. Something went wrong. All right. Something's wrong. I understand. You think something's wrong. I'm convinced. Something's wrong. Whatever scared that woman was not me. All right. The only time I walked in that house is when I encountered Officer Zimmer. That's it. All right. I wasn't there before that at any other time. Whatever scared her, whatever it was, all right, or whoever it was not me. I did not do it. I was not the one who was up there. All right. I walked up between those houses, and boom, there was me. All right. But I don't understand. You do understand, because I understand. It is you're sitting here trying. You're sitting there trying to say, I've done something wrong. I mean, you're saying it. I'm telling you, I didn't do anything wrong. I wasn't there doing anything with ill intent. Whatever started it was not me. Wasn't me. Okay. Let me just entertain. Let me just entertain you for a second. Who was it? I don't know. I have no idea who it was. At 12:30 in the morning, I don't know what. I do not know. No one else has been up here telling us, hey, I went by that house at 12:30 last night, except for Jeff Pelo. And Jeff Pelo says himself, you know, I was there. Yes, I was there. And Officer Zimmer tells him it paints a different picture. All right, and the lady at number 9, she paints it up. I mean, think about it. This is the only time I went between those houses when I walked through the way, looking at stuff. I looked into the. Did you stop? Did I stop where? I don't understand. When I walked through the lane and walked up and met Officer Zimmer, did I stop between the houses? Prior to seeing Officer Zimmer, stop. No. I stopped when I saw the figure at the front of the house. It turned out it was him. I stopped, turned, walked away. That's when he yelled, stop. I was like, oh. Okay. So what you're saying is that you were walking into two houses towards Officer Zimmer, saw him, turned around and said, stop. Yes. That's the totality. That's the totality. That's the amount of time I was between those two houses. And let's go back to how Officer Zimmer walked into the head to tell us something about the story. Why would you tell us a different story of what happened? I have no idea. We've already established that he has no reason to lie about it. Right? You have no reason to lie. I understand. You know exactly where we're sitting. And there are things that you need to do, and there are things that you need to take responsibility for and get this thing done. Let me tell you, Jeff, point blank, you've hurt 2 people in the last 12 hours, and you've hurt them deeply. In David Zimmer and this people. Yes.
I did not hurt that female. All right, I don't even know anything about that female. I wasn't the only. Only time I'm in between those two houses is when I went to the lake to go to the boat,
But that's not what they do.
I don't know what his perception of the situation was. Did I pause and turn to go away? Yes. Did I realize, if I realized at first that it was a police officer, I wouldn't have paused. I'd have kept on walking. Period. All right? I wasn't doing anything wrong. I had nothing to hide. If I had realized it was a police officer or anyone, Zimmer, anybody, I'd have just kept on walking when he broke stride. I thought it was someone that lived there. I was like, oops. The dog was barking.
You thought it was someone who lived there, so you were going to try to get away from the person who lived there?
What? Yeah, I'm just walking out and started.
Look, I'm just telling you things in your
You're right. Well,
that
but
doesn't make
it's
sense.
obvious.
It doesn't make sense. I'm just being real with you, Jeff.
I understand. I don't know what else to tell you. I wasn't doing anything wrong. I did not. The only time I went between those houses was when I walked up and met Officer Zimmer. I did not do anything with anybody anywhere last night. Period. I don't know what you're trying to allege here. I did not do anything with anybody at any point in time. I'm not looking in someone's windows. I'm not doing any of that. I walked down by that lake. That's what you said a minute ago. You said somebody was walking around looking in this woman's windows. It was not me. Whoever it was, I have no goddamn clue. No goddamn clue whatsoever.
I don't know that I said.
You know, I don't know how else to say it, all right? All right, the truth is the truth. I've already told it to you, and that's that. I don't know what else to do. Excuse me for getting pissed off here, but I didn't do anything wrong. All right? I did not do anything wrong. Period. I don't know how else to put it. I don't know how else to do it. I don't. I don't.
Well, as it's happened in the past, and I'll just tell you, I'll tell you point blank. I don't think the story is exactly the way it
I don't know what Dave Zimmer told you. All right? I don't know what his perception of it was. But the only time
Well, his perception is right on, Jeff. His perception is right on. Exactly right on.
again,
And here's the real story of it all, Jeff. You're the one who has to answer for it, not David Zimmer. David Zimmer was on patrol.
I'm not a judge. He did anything wrong. All right? I'm not. Again, I don't know what his perception of it was. I didn't do anything wrong. And I had no ill intent. All I did was walk in that lake and up between those houses. All right? You know, now that I'm sitting in an interview room and accused of being a criminal, honestly, I should have turned and walked back 50 feet and walked up onto the cul-de-sac. It's right in that cul-de-sac. Yeah, cul-de-sac is right there.
Obviously, you should have done what?
Should have walked all the way back to where there's no houses, and I walked up the cul-de-sac. Honestly, that's what, you know, looking back on it, perhaps that's what I should have done. Oh my God.
Is that how you came around?
Huh?
Is that how you came around? Did they empty lots? To see the spillway?
There's no spillway there.
Whatever you call it.
At the end of the cul-de-sac. Alright? Is that the way you went around? Originally, I started to come down off of whatever, I can't remember which street it is. You come down, right? I didn't want it, so I walked up on the street, whatever that street's called now. I can't remember the name of the street, Antport. Walked down, where that cul-de-sac is, looked at that townhouse, did not even go up to the windows of the townhouse. I looked at it from a distance to see if it's where it was. If that's the one that's for sale, it was. I looked down by the lake, started to go on the west side. It's like, no, I don't want to go that way. So I started to come around on the east side, walked around. That's where the little spillway thing comes down there. I know it's spillway now. I realized, okay, I can't cross that. That's my turn. And walked from the house. Actually, I went down a little way, realized that, went back. You know, one house had a fence, I believe. So I walked back. Guess it was one house, walked up between the houses, and that's when the house was in.
What we good?
I think of-
Sorry, I'm having some difficulty with my sound for some reason. Trying to fix it. Pause this one. Okay, I got it fixed. Sorry about that.
If you take a minute and you think about it, you put all
Count
the
them.
think about it,
That's what happened.
you put all the things together. Then fine.
Again,
And you come up to a conclusion.
how it may seem,
Is
not,
it's just a coincidence? It's
Yes.
just a coincidence?
I didn't do anything wrong last night. I didn't do anything to anyone. Again,
You didn't really,
I didn't do any one thing to anyone.
did anybody ever say you did anything?
Said I terrorized two people.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything to anyone.
All right, let me back up again and talk about that. I want to put real things into real scenarios, Jeff. If this is happening to your wife, would you say that you didn't do anything, that person didn't do anything to your wife?
I didn't do anything to anyone. I don't know what happened to what happened last night.
No,
You're asking me to make a comparison, and I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about as far as what happened to that woman. I'm not a part of it, I don't know anything about it. I don't know anything about it. Obviously, if somebody was terrorizing my wife, I'd want to do something about it. I was terrorizing no one. I didn't do anything to anyone.
well, let me ask your definition of terrorizing
Me walking from that lake and walking up between those houses and meeting Officer Zimmer is not terrorizing someone.
something. Okay, I'll give you that.
I didn't.
I'll give you that.
That's the extent of what I did. Other than walk by the lake.
If that's what happened, I'll give you that.
It's not if, that's what happened.
But we have others who say otherwise.
Two others.
Two others, Jeff. I mean, this is something you're gonna have to, you can't just explain one.
I can't explain it. I didn't do anything.
Okay, let's go back to, you define what terrorizing is.
Terrorizing.
If someone's looking in your window, is that terrorizing?
I wasn't looking at you. I wasn't.
Did you see anybody else?
No. I wasn't looking for anyone else.
I mean, at 12 in the morning, you would
I
have
could have been down, I could
somebody
have
else out there.
Yes, if they had been down where I was at, yes. All right, if they're up on the road or up between houses where I'm not at, I don't know. I wouldn't have seen them.
I think we're getting mixed up on.
But yeah, there was somebody else there. When I first pulled over, some woman walking her dog. Right on the street up, I don't know when the street up. All right, but, you know.
I think we're getting two different ideas of what terrorizing is. You keep on saying, I didn't do anything. Well, I didn't do anything to anyone. Okay, I'm not saying that this person was, someone broke into her house or anything like that. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that she was physically attacked or anything like that.
I'm glad nothing like that.
Right. However, but for a young female, having someone looking in the windows or trying her doors is.
But I didn't do anything like that. All right? I didn't do anything like that.
Yeah.
All right? I wouldn't do anything like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I simply looked at that lake, walked it between those houses. Right? If the spillway wouldn't have been there, I'd have walked around there. Right? Again, I did not do anything to anyone. Didn't do anything to anyone.
No, that's what you're saying.
That's what happened. It's not what I'm saying, that's what happened. I didn't do anything to you.
But that's not what two other people said.
Not what the other two people said. Right?
Well,
They,
that's
I,
not even. Okay.
his,
Single evidence is a lot different than yours. A lot. Alright. And I'm to the point, let me reiterate, that you flipped him out. Because
I don't know how I put them out, but
I mean, you split that.
he said you weren't yourself.
That wasn't my style. I wouldn't be myself either if a police officer confronted me at 12:30 in the officers. And then we can't discount what the lady says, you know, her dog's barking its head off. Right?
Yeah. Down by the lake, yep, dog's barking his head off.
And
Well,
she-
any dog's barking, I don't know where the bed.
Okay.
I don't know what house the dog is at, it's just dog barking.
And why does she have any reason to call down and say, hey, this is what's happening in my house? Not once, but twice, and also calls her brother.
But again, I don't know who was messing with the lady. It was not me. All right. Obviously, if somebody's messing with her, in whatever fashion it was, I don't know. Of course, she should call.
Okay, but we've already established that nobody else does. Great. And
I did not.
we have already established
I
that
did
you're
not
the,
terrorize anybody, as you put it. I didn't do anything. All right? Obviously, my mistake was, again, like I said, I walked between those houses to go to the road as opposed to going farther down. That's it.
I know and you know. There's not,
No,
there's not.
not doing that, that's all. I did not do anything else. I did not do anything else. I did not do anything to anyone. All right? You know, what specifically happened, I don't know. I did not.
What specifically?
I'm a walk between the houses. My apologies. I don't know anything. Yes, I'm apologizing for being angry. I've been accused of doing something I had nothing to do with.
You know, we're at the point where, you have got to be thinking that this isn't some fishing expedition. We just didn't pick you out of the clear blue sky and come in.
None.
Correct?
Honestly, again, the only thing I did
Was walk from the lake in between two houses out to,
up to the road.
out to off.
I was over the road. And when I realized somebody was up there, I was like, I turned to go back, and that's what he said. And I turned around and came back.
But we're leaving out this, we're leaving out you and standing in the middle like this.
That did not occur.
And an officer confronted you twice.
That did not occur.
And then you turning
No.
and walking away,
And I
and your
turned.
hands right here, and he says, stop. Show me your hands. And he has, and, I mean, you've been in the ERU,
I understand.
you have been in, you're a weapons guy, you're from the military,
I understand.
and you're telling me you didn't know somebody had a gun pointed at you?
He's backward. I wasn't paying attention to that.
You weren't paying attention to
He
someone.
said, stop,
pointing
please.
a
And
gun
I
at
said,
you.
oops. It's the, I turned and walked up there. That's that. I talked with him a few minutes, and not even a few minutes. All right? You know, he's obviously on a call.
There's problems with that, all kinds of. And I'm not here to sit and tell you that it's all it is, you know, that kind of stuff. But no. And you know where I'm coming, because I've told you. I am not buying what you're telling me. For 1 second. For 1 second. You know. Well, I've done this for a long time, and you've
I've
done
done
it
it
for,
yes, I have.
you've done it for a long time.
And I even think wrong.
I know you, I know. And you know what? How many times have we sat here and listened to somebody for hours and we're not so well they did?
I'm not going to be here for hours
And
telling
then,
you that I didn't do anything wrong.
and then, you have all the behaviors and all the things that are happening, you know, you were not Sergeant Pelo. You were absolutely somebody else. And we can sit here and you can say, this is what I did, and I can sit and say, this is what we know, till the cows come out. But you know, in your heart, exactly what happened.
Yes.
Yes.
I went down, looked that way, walked through those houses, go back to the road on my truck, and that's what happened. That was the only time I was between those houses.
And say, we talked. Well, that's good. Did she know you were going?
I don't know. She was asleep when I left. I was studying for the test we were taking today. I couldn't sleep. Shaved, couldn't sleep. You know what? Went for a little drive while I was driving it. I went back to look at that light. I told you why I was there. That's it. That was it.
You know, so you've been looking for a house for your mom?
We discussed it several times.
Have you looked at any other homes for your mom?
We looked at some around where I live at, yes. No, the price for the shit. Right? Or they're not ranches. I'd love the community further down from there, the one that takes care of it, very same style of houses. Right? But again, the little strips into my community.
In down.
No, not in down. Farther down street. I don't know the name of it, not Strive, I can't remember the name of it. There's a community there that will not be a little,
It's
housing.
got the little, yeah, it's got the little building.
Mhm. Yeah, it's got the little shacks for about $135,000, and not worth that. But in this town, they're all, that's about the lowest you get. And that's up at the middle on the west side of town.
And you say she's in your name?
Yes. She's looked, I've looked.
You say, oh yeah, that would be totally normal for us to do. Just to go at 12:30 in the morning.
I can't predict you what she wants to say.
You've been married to her, she's the mother of your children.
I understand. I cannot predict you what she's going to say.
You don't think that she knows you?
Yeah, she does.
Is she gonna say, well, that will be normal behavior for you to do?
It's not. Is it normal that I do that? No. All right. Because it's. I don't know how else to say it. Didn't do anything wrong. I didn't.
And at some point, you've got a wife,
I understand.
2 children,
Again,
3 children.
I.
Most messed up part of this whole story is we've gotten through almost 47 minutes of it and haven't even mentioned he's a double rapist yet. So I don't know how in heck they're going to get to that unless they get a second part to this.
Didn't do anything to me. Whoever the lady was, I didn't do anything to her. I wouldn't do anything to anybody.
There is a second part.
Different lives.
Nope.
Probably different lives.
Again, I don't know what you're implying there.
Jeff, I'm not implying. I'm saying.
I don't lead a sinister life of some kind. I didn't do anything wrong.
Wow.
I didn't do anything to anyone. I didn't do anything to anyone. I did not. I don't.
Oh, there is a part two.
Did not.
That's why.
honestly, walking through the two houses last night, what common sense was. Did I have ill intent in my heart when I walked between those two houses? No. I had no ill intent in my heart at all last night or any other. All right, let me ask you this. All right, let's look at another scenario. Let me, this night, we look at another scenario. What happened last night is what happened. I did not do anything wrong. I did not do anything wrong. And Jeff, I'm going to deny that is not exactly what happened. Okay? I've seen this lady. Okay, like I said, let me give you a different scenario. I've seen this lady. She's extremely attractive. I haven't seen her. I have no idea who she is. As you're walking through the two houses, do you see anybody in the window? I'm not looking in the windows. I didn't see anybody. I'm not saying you're looking in the windows. At this point, I'm not saying you're looking in the windows. I wasn't even walking next. The house I was walking next to didn't even have windows on that side. Jeff. Okay, I know. Remember, I know the answers to my question. I understand. All right. How far apart are these houses? I didn't measure them. I don't know. They're not very far. Your standard house, they're closer than your standard house. Yes, unless you go on the old side of town where they're really close to each other. The house I was walking next to didn't even have windows on that side of the house. All right? The house over there had windows. I didn't walk next to those windows. I walked over here. I'm not glaring or looking in anybody's windows. I walked in the way and I was walking up to the road. That's that. That's not. You know, you're sitting there trying to convince me I did something wrong, and I didn't do anything wrong, Larry. I did not do anything wrong. I understand. All right. Here's the bottom line. I didn't do anything wrong. That's the bottom line. That's not the bottom. All right. I didn't do anything to anyone. Period. I didn't. I mean, you have to understand. I understand. Now, this is a bad situation. A very bad situation. Right? I walked in the way, between the two houses going up the road. All right? Again. If I wasn't moving the spillway, I wouldn't even walk between those two houses. I would walk further down and walk up. And at some point in time, I'm sure I would walk between the two houses somewhere to get up from that way. All right? But again, when I walk between those two houses, I'm not doing it to look in any windows, I'm not doing it to do anything other than get to the road. Period. I don't know how. I just, in this situation, Jeff, you bought and paid for. Bought and paid for? I didn't do anything wrong. You're just too much. Too much? Because everyone else has no ulterior motives or ulterior meanings or anything like that. Neither saying something that isn't. Neither do this gal would just assume if Jeff ever come into her life. I wasn't in that day. I don't even know who that ever is. I can't even tell you which house she was in. All right? I don't know what car he went to. I didn't ask him in the car. He came to your car. And you know that. Whoever that lady called on was not me. I did not go between those houses prior to the time I walked the way up. All right? Whatever she's saying was not me. All right? I have no idea what her allegation is. I have no idea what she's saying, but it was not me. All right? It wasn't me. I know that's what you're saying. I know that's what you're saying. It was not me. I didn't. But even besides the two people that we have seen, and one of them being your own, you're even telling me. No. Did you? I didn't see anybody else. I'm not going to sit here and nitpick everything. I didn't see anybody else. Absolutely need to nitpick. I didn't see anybody else. Again, you've heard this before.
that I'm afraid of. Because I know from the alignment of these open, from the alignment of these that and there's no doubt there's a hole going through your chest. I didn't do anything wrong.
I mean, you can sit here and say whatever you want, I did not do anything wrong.
Look at your perception, you may think that you did.
It's not a matter of my perception, it's a matter of reality. I didn't do anything wrong. Whoever was terrorizing that woman, I have no clue who it is. It's not me, I don't know, it's the only damn time I walked between those houses. Jeff, was the time I walked up there.
You've got a lot of explaining to do.
I've explained it, I don't have a lot of explaining to do.
Yes, you
I've
have.
explained it.
You have a lot of explaining to do, and
I keep on going back to this because I have to go back to this, because you know what it's like to be sitting in this chair. I understand, okay? All right. And I know there are times that people are literally telling you the truth. And a good interview will figure that out. Like, I don't know, I'm telling you the truth. I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't do anything wrong.
but you also know, right, that a good interview will sit here and know that someone's not telling you the truth. So
Yes, you're right. All right.
Jeff,
You're correct. I'm sorry. All right. And your perception of me right now is I'm not telling the truth. Not just because you're sitting here telling me that you didn't do it. It's because we've got a whole host of other things that says you did. And that's what you're dealing with.
well, I didn't do anything wrong.
And you
I didn't
understand
do anything to anyone.
Period. I don't know.
I didn't do anything to anyone. Period. Period. I didn't do anything to anyone.
And you're gonna have you know that the best places to clear things up are right here. Yes, you're right. There's nothing to clear up. There's nothing to clear up. I mean, there's nothing to clear up. I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't do anything wrong at any time.
And that's the story of that.
It's not the story, it's the truth.
Because that's all we're gonna say. If it comes to a point where we have to go to a judge and say, I didn't do it.
Tell the judge the same thing I've told you. The only time I'm right between those houses, I'm right from that way, up towards the road. That's it. That's it.
You know, you're just not listening to reality. You're just not listening to reality. The only thing you can say is walk from the red houses, the officer. However, police officer, victim, I had mentally in the area. I mean, it's not looking good for Jeff Pelo. I did not do anything. This is just a case of mistaken identity. I didn't do anything to anyone. I didn't do anything to anyone. I did not want to scream. I did not say anything to anyone. That your guts are just screaming at you. No, they're not.
everything anyway.
Okay, that's the end of that video. I just wanted to read you guys something. It says, Jeff Pelo was a 17-year-old veteran of the Bloomingdale Police Department, but he was more than that. He turned out to be a serial rapist. He broke into it, terrorized 3 different women in Bloomingdale. He stalked them, checked their records, ran their plates to know where they were, and finally, to each of them, broke into their house, bound them with duct tape, covered their heads with a pillowcase, and raped them. Afterwards, he would make them bathe and clean up the house, including getting rid of the sheets. He knew how to cover his tracks because of all his training as a police officer. One night, his third victim's dog was barking like crazy, and because she had a bad feeling she was being followed weeks before, she didn't hesitate to call the police. Another officer arrived, finding Jeff Pelo outside the woman's house. The officer was shocked and concerned that the sight of this brother of arms did the proper thing and took him in. After being interrogated for a couple of hours and Jeff repeating his innocence, they decided to do a voice matching. Jeff was told to read off of a script that included things that the attacker of the woman had said, but it wasn't the only thing the woman recognized. It was his piercing blue eyes. One look at those eyes and she knew. Jeff was tried and found guilty of 35 counts of rape and stalking. He received one of the top sentences in Bloomingdale history at 440 years. He is now where he belongs. They've got other videos here. I'm kind of curious. This one says, Police Sergeant Secret Life is a Rapist, Serial Rapist. I'm curious if it's different than the one we just watched.
It's almost too frightening to imagine this man obsessively stalking women.
No, same.
Back up against the house and not trying to be seen.
Same one. How about this one? It says witness statement number 1. It's only 8 minutes long.
Okay. Thanks for coming up. I do appreciate it. A couple things real quick. Like I said, I was going to turn the video recorder on. It is running now. Everything we say is being audio and video recorded. Secondly, you're free to leave. I asked you to come up. And it's been, about a week or so ago now. You would spend an evening with me what you saw or what you guys did, but
Sure.
times and everything.
I picked her up at her house at about 7:30. We hung out for a minute, had a cup of coffee, and then called ahead to Biaggi's to make reservations. We left her house. We arrived at Biaggi's around 8 o'clock. We were seated about 10 or 15 minutes after that. We had dinner, and that lasted until approximately between 9 and 9:15. And then we left Biaggi's and went to Palace Cinemas and saw a movie which started at 9:45.
Okay.
After the movie, I took her back to her house, and that was right at about midnight or 10 till then. I dropped her off, and saw that she got into the house okay. She closed and locked the door behind her. And she has a signal where she flips her porch light on and off to signal that she's in the door is locked and whatnot. And after that, we went directly on.
Okay. When you dropped for at any time in the evening, did you see anyone out on foot in the neighborhood, whether they be lurking in the shadows or just walking down the street?
I didn't. I mean, there were people out. It was a nice evening. There were a lot of families in that neighborhood. But as far as anyone suspicious or lurking, anything like that, I didn't notice.
When you dropped her off, or anytime you did you notice anyone just sitting in a vehicle anywhere?
No.
As far as when you dropped her off, just vehicles that were in the area, did you recall any vehicles that were in the area?
There's a van that's usually parked, sort of catty corner to her house. I think it's a white Dodge minivan. And, I know there were a few other cars further back, but I mean, there are usually cars parked along there just because of, how many people live there. So I know there were cars parked along the street, but I didn't notice anything particular.
Any pickup trucks that you noticed?
No, not that I can recall immediately.
Okay. How long have you known?
About 3 years now, 3.5 years.
You guys hang out quite a bit, or?
Yes, she travels for work, and with her job, she's pretty busy, but definitely I would say that when she's available or when I'm available, we see a lot of each other.
And I know, I think you told me on the phone that since this incident, you've been spending the evenings there just kind of
Yes,
extra security, or
I
just,
think since last Tuesday night and up till last night, I've been spending every night there. Just
prior to that, had you ever spent the night there?
yes, not too often, but a couple times when we went out, or when we went to a concert or a show one time in the Quad Cities, and we came back and spent the night. So it's not too unusual to stay out there since she does live kind of far from my house.
Okay. And when you would have spent the night, what kind of vehicle would you have been driving?
Most of the time I would have been driving my car, which is a silver Pontiac Grand Am. It's a 2000 two-door.
Okay.
But I also sometimes drive my mom's car, which is a tan Lexus RX 300. That is a 2002 four-door. Sort of mid-size sport utility.
Okay. What's the license plate number of your car? Have you seen any of the press coverage?
Yes.
Have you seen the suspect picture in the paper at all?
Yes.
Does that person look familiar to you at all?
Sort of, but because of I see a lot of police, so I couldn't say where or when. I mean, it's very possible I saw him at the courthouse a couple times. I did work up there for a few months.
Okay.
So he did look vaguely familiar, but not anymore.
What did you do when you were? When was that?
That was 2 summers ago. Not last summer, but the summer before that. I think it was like May through August, 2 or 3 times a week.
Okay. Anything else you can think of?
I mean, the one thing, since her van was parked in the driveway, from what I've heard and what I've read, the suspect was around the side of the house. So my view was completely blocked because of her car. And I didn't notice anything, but at the same time, since everything with had ended, I no longer, beforehand I would really look at the cars on the street. I would notice things all around, but since that ended, I, obviously didn't think I had any reason to. The one thing I did, when I dropped her off, I was in my mom's car. The lights were a little bit higher, and I pulled back, and I kept the lights on the front door. I don't know why. I don't know if it was sixth sense or I just did. And I kept the lights on the door the whole time. Saw that she got in. She turned around. She closed and locked the door. Flipped her light on. Waved at me that everything was okay before I left. So I definitely, I made sure she got in the house.
Right. So when you dropped her off, you pulled into the driveway. She got out, and then when you left, you backed out of the driveway.
Right. I backed out and just kind of sat with the lights on the house until she had gotten in, and I saw she was okay, and then I proceeded to drive off.
Okay. Very good. If you think of anything else, anything comes to mind at all, don't hesitate to give me a call. All right.
And that's it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Write in the comments below if you have any comments about this video. It looks like he got the right amount of time that he deserved. If he had raped all them people, he looked like he raped something like 35 people. 440 years sounds about right for doing that type of stuff. This is Dean saying, oh, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and like this video and send it to YouTube friends, post on YouTube, Twitter, all that stuff. This is Dean saying, have a nice night. I'll talk to you soon.